Cool. Thanks.
Karan, just let me know whenever you've started it. Got it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So I guess I'll start.
Yeah.
All right, great. Good evening, everyone. My name is Abhishek Jain, and I'm pleased to invite you all to the first episode of the MSc or the Master of Science series by Planty. Today, we're very fortunate to have with us Ankit Kolil, graduate of the 2017 batch from the National Institute of Technology, Calicut. He then went on to pursue his Laurea Magistral, which is an equivalent of the Master of Science in Building and Architectural Engineering from the Politecnico di Milano Institute in 2020. In today's session, Ankit will be speaking in detail on the application process to this institute, as well as the opportunities available both during and after completing an MSc from this institute. I would now like to hand it over to Ankit to begin this session.
Okay. Thank you, Abhishek, and thank you, the team of Planty, for reaching me out and giving me the opportunity to share the stage. So, there is a lot of questions which people ask to me nowadays, and also it's quite a pressing question for the fresh graduates and the students at the final year of our architecture in India. That what to do after that, and how should I start applying for masters, and should I do the masters, or what's the procedure, and which colleges are good, which course is good. So the list is long, and let's have a look at each of the points one by one. And before that, I will just give you a quick introduction of myself. I'm Ankit Kokil from Indore, and basically I've been the idea for me started about architecture when I was doing my civil engineering, and I was awestruck with the idea of drawings and how if you have the engineers out there would understand the machine drawing, and that way it was very interesting, and that I shifted to architecture. I did my bachelor's, and now I'm here after my completion. I'm now here at Polytechnico, finished my master's here a couple of months ago. So architecture, like I was being as a student, an active student in the fraternity in India, participating in competitions, especially NASA, which is National Association of Students of Architecture in India, quite a huge body of students organization, and I was fortunate enough to represent my university there. And that time, I understood that the field is quite big, and then the competition is huge. Plus, at the same time, the quality required by the students in the university stage at the bachelor's level was not quite what I was expecting. Like the level was still quite high in terms of, if you see the cream of all the students in India. So my quest for inquiring and learning and improving was on, and in that way I was fortunate enough to meet one of my mentor, architect Anupama Kundu. She has a big impact on the way I have started looking towards architecture. So the first thing before I start about masters, I would give a little suggestion to all the young aspirants doing their bachelors is to find one guide, a person who can help you to come out of the same journey which everyone else in your batch is doing, but to understand architecture from outside perspective, like to know what exactly is required to be an architect and what is needed to think in that direction. So a good mentor would be the best way to understand and get those answers. Yeah. So giving a broader idea about the architecture in India, it's we as we know that there are a lot of colleges and there are a lot of debate going on in the fraternity about why so many colleges and what makes each college unique out of another, and where students see themselves graduating from those colleges. So just a quick numbers check. We have in India almost 933 architecture schools registered, which is quite a lot compared to what is there in European or Western countries. Like in Italy, there are kind of around 40 architecture schools or universities available. So it's a very different platform for each student in India and here. So why is it important? Because the quality of the student and their work varies quite a lot, and then the competition increases also. So just giving a brief about Politecnico Milan is one of the premier architecture as well as engineering institute in Italy as well as Europe. And according to the QS ranking, the latest QS ranking in architecture stream, it holds 7th position in the world, which is good. And it sets the standard, it matches the standard, and it maintains the standard as well. That's what I would say when I'm graduate from the same institute. So so the master's degree here is basically dealing with the course which I am doing is about which I have done, which is about architecture and building and engineering. So this is inclined towards more of technological direction, and my interest to this was because of my background in National Institute of Technology in Calicut. It's more technical institute, as you all architecture students might have known. The IITs and NITs put more push towards the technical side and technological aspects of design more than the art and architectural aspect. So it was the same, the path for me was the same, to continue ahead to learn more about the technological aspect and the energy aspect of the design and our built environment. So why and who should apply? So the first question which I would like to answer, like who should apply for a master's? So that's a very important question at the moment when you are in your 4th year, you're doing your internship in your final sem year along with thesis. So my take would be to look for something which you really passionate about in architecture, especially if you like to do more of academia stuff, or more of you have a quest of learning more in detail and at par technological things, or how the approach to design happens. So you have to first make sure that you are ready for mentally, like you're mentally ready for the further studies, because 5 years doing bachelor's is a very gruesome time when you are grilled through and out. So there you have to be very patient enough to still continue it for further 2 years. So what I would suggest is take a break, not just directly go just from your bachelor's final year directly coming to master's. I would say explore, learn, and engage yourself in different opportunities or different situations where you are learning from different stakeholders or people from different backgrounds, maybe engineering or any other social or environmental background. So these people might give you an idea of to know where you are actually looking yourself working into. So that will give a clear idea on why you want to do the masters and which stream you want to do the masters. So who should apply? I would say the ones who are ready for 2 more years of studying and they have a clear idea of why they want to do the masters, and are they ready for it. Many times it happens like in India, if you don't find job and you are feeling that what next, my parents are pressurizing me for marriage, for finding something, because in job, as you know, that you start very with a low pay scale, which is again one of the important debate we should carry forward in order to understand why the situation of architects in India is not so celebrated. So um, starting, if you are working in any office and during the internship, if you find to have a good office, you try to stay or continue, or try to find a office or practice where you feel which is connected to your own style or thinking of approach to architecture. It can be sustainable design firms, it can be firms which are doing interior architecture, it can be firms which are doing the commercial architecture. So, or institutional, it can be, the range can be wide. So you need to know which typology of projects interest you more. So there you will know that why exactly you want to do it, and then what lies in the same direction in the world level. So let's say, for example, if I am doing, if I was interested in sustainable architecture as well as technological engineering aspect of the design. So I started looking for a lot of options available in India. But then in India, it was this particular course was not available as such. There is one and a couple of universities, but they are a little from the broader perspective. But if you want to know in detail how things work, this course is very good in a way that it helps in understanding from how the policy level framework is done to management level to execution level. So there are, which I'm going to discuss in the course structure and what exactly we learn in this course. So make sure that you know what exactly you are looking for at the end of your bachelor's. If not, take your time, year or a couple of years. Basically, 2 years is a good time, I would say, to gain the experience in India, work for someone, some office, and get the first-hand experience on site. Though it will help you a lot, but the approach is different here. But still, it makes your mind more matured enough to understand and approach the design in a very critical way. And then now, when to apply? It's very important. Another important question is to meet the deadlines, and you would be the benefit here in Polyme is like you have two calls. So the first call, so there are 2 semesters where you can start the course. The first one starts in September, the first semester, September session, and it goes on till January, and then you have exams. The next one starts in February end, so February and then till summer. So you can enter into the university in any of these calls. So the thing is, it doesn't mean that you learn the first semester subjects in February. No, when you come in February, you will learn, you start your subjects from that particular semester. So then you will come back again to first semester subjects and you do with them in the next semester. So it's like a very unique and strange cycle of course here. But the first thing I would say is start from September is the best time to come, because everything is fresh. You are not suddenly joining the group, but everyone is new to the group, more or less. So you start in September, and for September applications, you have to start applying in, you can start in two phase. The call first is from September to November. So that for next September, you can apply in November itself. So November, you start apply, and it call closes in December. And then again, it reopens in February and March, and you can start in September. So you have a good time. Like you have like a solid 3-4 months to prepare your documents, and you get the results in April or May. In that meantime, in a couple of months, and once you get the results, you have like 2-3 months of time to start preparing for your visa and documents. Is a long process. I would say like Italy is one of the very out of the league country where you have a lot of paperwork and very unnecessary paperwork, but still you have to do it. So I hope in future, because I think because of COVID, it has some relaxations, and now the students and friends of mine who are coming now, they find it very easy to arrive in and get the visa and paperwork done. So we'll discuss that also in a while. Now, so when to apply? Apply from, I would say the best time is November and December. If you have missed it, you still have time. If you are looking at this video now, you have time till March, April. So March, mid-March or end of the March, the deadline is there. So apply and register yourself, and you can put your candidature for the course. Now, how to apply is one of the important aspect. Like everyone is thinking, okay, I should apply and this and that. But how to apply for the course is very important, because the documents need to be very properly managed. Because if you have a proper set of documents, the process is very easy. But if you are mismanaged your own documents, then it's a lengthy process, because you are confused and it takes a lot of time. So the best way is to start by registering yourself to the university portal. There you can find you have like or when you reach the Polyme website, Politecnico di Milano or polyme.it, there you will find for new logins. So sign up, login, and then for new applications, there is a form. You fill your details, your required details, the basic details you can about your basic information about the course, the degree you have done, and the next one would be to upload your documents. So that is where you should work properly and thoughtfully. So if you are preparing the documents, by documents I mean you need to have your degree certificate. Now, degree certificate, it's important that if you are graduate, and many colleges, the convocation happens quite late, and if that is the condition, you have to produce from your university a document that which is, or a provisional certificate which will be fine for a time being, and then as soon as you get the major degree certificate, you can upload. Then you need, if you are a final year student, then again you need from the university, you need a declaration that you are going to graduate, and there is no problem for you in graduation. So that way also you can apply. The next thing would be your transcripts. So in case of those who are still in the college, they don't get the transcript. So that thing you can keep it blank. And rest all you have to publish the transcript, upload the transcript, and that would be it. And the next one would be your portfolio, very important. So it's one of the most crucial aspect based on which you will be evaluated and your selection would be determined, especially for architecture students, because there are a lot of applications from around the world, and obviously they want to meet the standards, so they would try to keep it as quality content as possible. So I would, my suggestion to all the students at B.Arch level will be to work on your projects and keep them very clean. Like, if it doesn't matter how many projects you are showing, what matters is your approach to design and your delivery. So don't put everything. There's a lot of things which you can talk about in this aspect, but I hope all the students understand, like, don't just copy paste your sheets. create your own language for portfolio. Keep it short, sweet. CV, work on your CV. Build your CV. That would I would say, because they will require you to have more practical insight about what you are going to learn. If that learning matches with the program, it's easier for you to get into, and they would definitely check that. And then after that would be letter of recommendation. So letter of recommendation would be required from your university. So there are sometimes misconceptions like, okay, can I have a letter of recommendation from so and so architect I have worked for? If I can get their recommendation, I'm sorry. You have to get your own university professor's recommendation letter. So that is something which is unique about Polytechnic, because this is not there for other universities. But in Polytechnic, you have to produce a letter of recommendation from your own professor at the university. So it can be someone like an HOD of your department, or your thesis guide, or someone who is having a good touch in the subject matter you want to learn further. So that helps, because it shows your interest and what he is talking about you as a personality, so that helps. So these are very important. And then what the major next question everyone is seeking for is to know if we have to do English language course or certification exam, if you have to do IELTS or TOEFL. So there are like ways of also not doing it, and also you have some cases you have to do it. So in case of Polyme, in my case, I was not required to take IELTS or TOEFL, because my course of in my bachelor's, the course was in English, and my institute provided me with a letter stating that the whole course was in English and the language is not a problem. So if your university is ready to give you some sort of letter like that, it can help you avoid TOEFL or IELTS. I know sometimes because for me, I would frankly say that it happens like you are as a student, you don't want to like end up just putting so much of money in application process, and at the end just waiting and nothing is happening. So only if you're like determined, okay, I have to come to Polyme, then you don't need to do IELTS or TOEFL. You have your university letter saying that you have done the course in English, and the whole medium of teaching and studying was in English, then it will be fine. So that is the case and then all these documents will be required as the first in profile you have. When you are making a profile, you are uploading all these stuffs, and then there will be set deadlines. Before that, you can select the courses you want, the campus you want. Again, I see a lot of problem which happens like when you are selecting the course, you will find that you have a whole list of courses available at Polytechnico. So you have to be very attentive in selecting which course you are applying for. If you are applying for building and architecture engineering in LECO campus, you should be aware about its master's course track, because a lot of my friends had this issue, came from India, and then they wanted to do building engineering, but they came in architecture engineering, or vice versa. But then in that process, they miss 1 year, so which is not good. So be attentive whenever you are selecting the particular campus. Select it wisely and be careful when selecting, and then you know what you are selecting. Okay, study properly, thoroughly understand what this course will tell you about. It can be any course. Right now, I'm not talking about just my course, but any MSc course in Polytechnico. Because there are a lot of courses like architecture and urban design, only architecture and building engineering, architecture and built environment, architecture and interior. So there are n number of courses. So why you want to select that particular course is very important. So have your own justifications and your own reasons and your own will to do the particular course, and then you can just apply for it. So once you apply the course, you have to wait for the further announcement from the university. They will send you a mail. So the acceptance letter, once you get like, okay, you are being selected for the particular course, and usually you can apply for multiple courses. You can apply for 2 to 3 courses, and based on the hierarchy, they will evaluate your application for that particular master's. So let's say if I want to apply for architecture and urban design, sustainable and building, landscape architecture, and architecture and building engineering. So in the 3, let's say first I didn't get because so and so reason, they won't say. You can just check your status in your application form, in your website, and in the portal. And if you are selected for the next one, but they will not evaluate the 3rd one. So you have to either accept or reject that particular selection. If I am selected for, let's say, sustainable and landscape architecture design in Piacenza campus, and then I don't want to do it, but I still want to check my availability for building engineering in Milan. So I would have to say no to that particular course and wait for the next one to check. Because this way, the university is sure that, okay, yeah, you are going to reject this and then accept this one. So once you reach this stage and you accept and things go okay, then you get the letter from the university stating that you have been accepted by the university for so and so course, and what is the time for starting. So the time would be like the semester you want to start with, either in September or February. So based on that, you have to prepare the documents, which is the next thing of like the application process, the most important aspect of the application process. So yeah. So the most crucial aspect is be ready with your documents like degree, original degree with you, original transcripts. And yeah, these 2 are the most crucial documents, because after that your whole running will start. So in Italy, it's a clause. I think it's only for Italian universities. It's not there for German universities. So for the universities, you have for this Polyme, you have to prepare a DOV, a declaration of value, which is also an apostille. It sounds very heavy word, but it's nothing but a certification from the Ministry of External Affairs that your certificate is authentic and original, and Italian government can use it as an equivalent document for their Italian document. So like to know, okay, what is the originality and of your document. So that's why they need to do apostille. This can be done at either embassy, not embassy, a Ministry of External Affairs, Human Resource Department in Delhi, or you can do it in nowadays also visa application centers will be doing it. So you can apply there, and like in VFS Global, you can apply, go there, tell them this is the document which you need to do the DOV. And now it's there is one more procedure, which is pre-enrollment. What happens is, like, once you get the course accepted, you go into the embassy or the consulate of Italy in India, either in Mumbai or Delhi, based on your zone, and you have to produce the document about your degree certificate and all this list of documents. They will verify them personally and ask you a little question like why you want to do the course, what is the motivation, and things like this. And the problem is it's a very tedious process because you have to wait for the appointment date. It takes a lot of time. But now what is happening is, because of the COVID, they have skipped this process, and they have said, like, okay, if the university approves that the degrees and the certificates are okay, then we are okay. So I hope for the coming time also they would understand the unnecessary stuff they were doing before, and they would skip that part. So because then only you will have the DOV to be done. So DOV can be done from the VFS. Once you get the DOV, you start the visa application process. So visa application process, you have to understand what documents required. So the most important is your stay and residence and your economic. So economy is one factor which is very important for the students who are applying, because many times they reject the visa, even if you have a approved acceptance letter from the university. Why? Because if they find something which is not so concrete about your economic situation, they would hesitate. So the best way is to take a student loan. That's what I did, to take a student loan, which even if you are able to support your own studies, it's fine just to take a loan, just to show that all the documents are formal and embassy won't have any issue in providing you with the visa. So you can do that. And then you have to also pay a fee, a very small token of fee of some amount, which is the first installment of your tuition fee. So the overall tuition fee is more or less 4,000 euros a year. But you can, the first installment is like somewhere around 800. So that you pay as a token amount before you apply for the visa. Okay. So that's saying that, okay, I have already paid and registered, and then they can start the process. So get all those things. Once you come here in Italy, you again have a lot of procedure. But basically, like my experience, I would say that it's very important. Like all these steps which you have to follow. It's important that you understand why you want to do this masters. It's really important, because otherwise, the energy it's going to take from you, it is quite exhausting, and at the same time, you have to be very patient. So my suggestion and my experience says that be confident, be clear about why you want to do the masters, and this is the only master you want to do, not the any other one. Especially in the field, even if you're applying for different universities, try to filter it in a way that you want to lead to a particular specialization, because it's a specialization MSc course, and it will make you ready for a particular role in the society. So basically, like if you are applying to different number of universities, apply in the same line. Don't apply everywhere. Okay, sometimes somewhere I am applying for computational design, somewhere I am applying for low cost housing or typology, or somewhere I am applying for totally different interior. Or so don't keep so much of difference in your application process. Keep it stick to the one main topic you want to explore as a master student. Then once you know that, it will be easier for you to follow mentally which college is good, which is not, which college is giving the better insight and knowledge. So Polyme here is good in a way that my course, architecture engineering, is a course which basically helps you in creating your understanding about wide variety or wide strata of buildings, from a small scale to the large scale. This particular masters is basically helping, is preparing us for as an architect and as an engineer who is able to understand what goes in the designing, and as well as what goes in executing these projects. Because unlike the approach in India, it's very different here in Western society, because of the climate condition, and also their focus on the energy needs and energy demand. So they try to keep as low energy buildings as possible. So the idea of nearly zero buildings or high efficient buildings and energy efficiency and zero carbon. So these topics are being very well dealt in the master's course of architecture engineering here in Lecco campus, and basically they make you ready for wide variety of tasks. Also, Italy, as it is very famous for its restoration and rehabilitation works, refurbishment works. So here the course also deals with renovation studios, where you are exposed to the real challenges of renovating a building, which is quite not there in India. There are courses in India which are doing that, but still not going in detail about designing and refurbishment. So this is a good exposure in a way if you want to learn. And then I would say there are a lot of options which you can look for in once you come here, because you get a chance to be with the professors or the cream of the intellectuals and the experts of the industry. So the next thing I would want to talk about is the scholarships. So before I again go into detail about my subject, scholarship is one of the really important topic of discussion. And as an Indian and coming from a middle income family group, you would definitely will be looking for scholarship opportunities. And I would say that studying in Polymy was one of the good decisions I made, because I don't have a lot of problem economically because of the scholarship. Why? Because of its unique structure of supporting the students which are having some problem economically. So there are a lot of scholarship options. And the thing is, the good thing is you don't have to specifically apply until you get the confirmation letter about the admission. So before admission, you don't have to worry about your scholarships. Why? Because there are three main types of scholarships available in studying in Polymy before coming. So first one is the merit based. So the merit based scholarship has three levels. One is platinum scholarship, gold scholarship, and silver scholarship. So platinum scholarship is something which is covering everything for you: your tuition fees, your stay, and you will be paid well for studying in Italy, so that you can meet your living expenses. Gold scholarship is also covering all these things, but it will be equivalent to another scholarship, which is the DSU, which is the economic scholarship. And for merit scholarship, you don't have to apply separately. When you put your profile, you put your portfolio, your CV, your motivation letter, automatically your application is being suggested for the merit-based scholarship. So you don't have to apply separately. If you are selected, they will notify you that you are selected for this scholarship, and then you get it. If you want to approve it, you have decision to do it. For merit-based scholarship, you have to apply. For university financial aid, you have to apply, which is DSU. And you have to apply it after you get the confirmation from the university. So don't worry about it before even the results came out. I see a lot of my friends asking and students asking how to apply for DSU, but when I ask them, okay, if they've received the letter of acceptance, they say no. So hold your horses, hold a bit, wait for some time, let the results come out, because it would be, I don't want you to unnecessary run from very long. Let the time decide, and you have short time to do all the stuff, and you will be able to do the stuff. So in that, you have to produce your document stating that your financial status of the family, your family composition, and what are the financial assets you have on your name. And these are very basic documents, which are the sample of which are available on the website. And then there is another scholarship, which are the talent scholarships or scholarships from the governments. Sometimes some state government bodies would also sponsor. So you can always keep a track on what state government body is having this scholarship opportunities for students who want to study abroad. Okay, so keep a track of it. Also in India, you can apply various scholarships. So that you can look for it separately. The thing is, this scholarship helps you a lot because in my case, I was able to meet my expenses without taking much of a economic burden because they pay you for staying and your daily needs, the living expenses. So basically, for a student, you don't need anything more than somebody covering your living expenses, you know. So that way, it's covered. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about the scholarship. And for Indians, it's noted that you will definitely get the DSU. Though I should not say that, but it's quite obvious. So be confident. You will get the DSU scholarship, but you have to prepare your portfolio application quite strong so that you are not in a problem. Then what was my experience as during the course? So the course structure is very good for architecture engineering, I am saying, because that was my major. So in architecture engineering, the 4 semesters are very quite well planned, but just that there's a little technical. So a transition for an architect would be a little drastic. For engineers, it would be okay because also civil engineers from India can apply for this course because we are this course is like a bridge. So it bridges both the sides of specialization from architects to civil engineers and then come together and work as a team. So the exchange is very good here. And it's an international course, so a lot of people from all cultural backgrounds come together to contribute. So I have friends from Australia, from Canada, from USA, from all over Europe, from Africa, from China. So like we have the diversity. So that this helps you a lot in terms of understanding the approach, understanding the kind of experience and exposure you get. So also the professors are quite helpful. So in terms of my experience with professors is that they are quite welcoming. The courses are straightforward. You have to spend time studying. So if you are doing justice to your studies, then you have the possibility to collaborate with professors, work for them as a trainee, as an intern. And if you are really into the subject, it opens a wide variety and wide set of opportunities after your graduation because obviously recommendation and they see the sincerity, it works a lot and it will help you get the good in this good steps to launch your career in Europe, or if you want to go back in India and work as an independent. So architecture engineering here, the only struggle most of my friends are facing is in structures. So if you are not so good in mathematics and structural terms, because it's an engineering course, so you have to be very careful. Because if you're just coming for fun, it's not going to be like that. Because they would give you the stamp only when you meet the standards or meet their standards. So no, so that's why like it's important that you plan it earlier, think critically that why you want to do this course, and if you really want to do this course, reach out to some of the person who has already done this course. You will find many of them on Facebook and nowadays Instagram, everywhere, or LinkedIn. So try to because structures here is more advanced compared to what we have studied in bachelor's. In bachelor's, it was just a tip of an iceberg. Here we study more than that, and the shift in the codes shift in the approach. It's quite a little. It's not so it's not justified in a way that we have already studied it, but we have studied in the different conventions. But here they have we have to follow the Eurocode, the European conventions for energy and. In the field of energy and sustainability, this course, that's what got my attention first time, was this course is focused on the sustainable technologies and energy efficiency of the building. So if you are a person who is inclined towards green building or energy efficient buildings, then it's very good course, because you are being taught how to measure these rating systems and how your building is performing in terms of the total energy it's gaining and total energy is losing. So there are a lot of factors which they really put light on. And sustainable building technology is something which is very, very helpful for very complex buildings. So if you are working for a large scale projects or projects where you require a lot of engineering to be done, like projects of BIG, big architects, or lot of another parametric tool, so you have to work out the technical details. So this particular course helps you understand those technical details quite well and work on those details, and in that way you understand what goes on within the building. When outside it's more of a aesthetic look, but inside how that aesthetic look came into existence, that how they did it is very important, and that you will understand once you do the particular course. Also, the course here is quite updated, because they are at par with the technology, and all the professors are quite good. They are updated, and they keep the latest technology into picture, and then try to make students involved with those technology. So it helps in a way that you broaden your perspective of understanding what different ways of doing the same detail or same design idea. And also the industry specialists come together to help us out. So in the specialists from glass manufacturers would come, Saint Gobain and etc. would come to help and understand, make us understand about how they work in an industry. And also firms like lot of renowned practices will come together to help us in our studios to solve our technical problems. So this balance of practical as well as academia is quite balanced in this, but still I would say student has to go an extra mile to be at par with what's happening at the latest in the fraternity. So then the last thing I want to talk about is the next possibilities or the future possibilities. What's next when you are a graduate like me? So I graduated 2 months ago, and then now is the time of COVID and all the restrictions, and many of us would say that it's not a good time to graduate, but you never know. If you have the skill, be patient, you will get something for sure. So I would just quickly tell you the things which you can get as an exposure once you come here during the course and outside after the course. Is the first one is the Erasmus. So in Europe, if you are studying, you have the chance of doing an exchange program in different universities for 1 year, where you can go and study in 1 year in different universities, come back and gain the experience of multicultural different cities. Then you have a possibility of doing a summer school, which is quite good in a way that if your profile as a student is good, you qualify in Idea League summer schools, where the top 4 European universities will come together, like ETH Zurich, TU Delft, Politecnico. These universities will come together and conduct workshops, and quite interesting, quite like forward-looking sessions, hands-on sessions or workshops to summer schools to make the leaders, not just as a student graduate, but also leaders for the future. So that's definitely a big plus of studying here. Then internships, you have the possibility of doing internships in different wide variety of firms and offices, starting from engineering to architecture design to interior design to artists. So that way you have the possibility to explore your niche in which you want to go ahead. You can also be a teacher assistant, teaching assistant. You can apply, and based again, all these things based on how you perform in your academia here after coming back. So if you are not performing well, it's difficult. But if you are in the cream and if you are giving your dedication and time, you will definitely find yourself in one of these. So teacher assistant, if you are interested in any subject matter very well and you want to explore it into further learning, then you can support the professor and help them in teach as an assistant. Then after you also have a dual degree possibility of doing dual degree course. Like rather than having a 2-year master's, it will be shifted to 3-year master, in which you go in another university and you get a dual master's degree from that university also. And that course will be finished in 1 year. So you have 2 years in Polytechnic, and 1 year you can do it in any other university from US to China to Europe, any other European countries. So that's a benefit. And you can also do it within the university, like within different streams. Like if you want to learn about mechanical engineering and you want to explore particular subject and relate it with the architecture engineering, definitely you can do it. And the labs are fantastic. They will help. You will get like a free hand to do your studies and test. Also, for the parametric architecture, this the lab here is good, and they have a quite interesting work going on right now. For after the graduation, you have a lot of options for job, and if you want to go for second masters, you can apply for sure. And for jobs, you can start with entry level jobs, and if you have experience beforehand, that's a plus. So jobs thing, there are a lot of jobs right now, but still like it's slow compared to what it was pre-COVID thing. But still, I think slowly now, since the COVID vaccine is out, it's going to be better in couple of months. Also, you have possibility of Erasmus traineeship, like you can do an internship with any other studio, and then the government pays you. They will take care of your expenses when you are in that phase. You can also apply for PhD programs. They are quite well supported. So you can do PhD also if you really want to be in academia and want to explore and understand that particular topic in detail. So all these things are very wide, and there are a lot of things you can take away from here. But all the things starts from like you just go for it and make your own standard of work, and don't negotiate with the level or the standard you want to maintain, because if you compromise on that, the further the whole path becomes, it goes down and down. So be confident with your work. Improve it during the bachelor itself. Don't worry about the marks much, but marks are important, I would say, because nowadays the first criteria is also like what pointer you have in your bachelor's, which will create a pathway for you to enter into the universities. So I would say don't be in really bottom ones, but keep yourself competitive, be competitive, and strive for the perfection and strive for good quality work. And that would lead you to meet a lot of interesting people. That's how I was able to, was fortunate enough to meet our architect Anupama Kundu and architect Snehal Shah. So both of them has left a big impact on my approach to architecture. and that learning is like a foundation for me, above my academic learning in bachelor's. So always try to find, like, as a student, you are as a student, so what as a student you can give back to the society is the good quality work. Rather than speaking so much, focus on your work, and definitely everything is possible, just that you keep your mind and body aligned with that. So yeah, I would say that's it. You can reach me out on various occasions, whenever. You can find me on all the social media handles, or write me. I think I have we can add the mail ID, or you can write it to Planty, and they are really doing really good in terms of reaching out to people who are looking for the answers and the approach for masters. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for being part of it. Thank you for listening, and I hope to for your big success in future, and hope to see you somewhere around in the world. It's a small world. We definitely would cross the path somewhere. So all the best. Thank you, and take care. Yeah, over to you, Abhishek.
Thanks a lot, Ankit. I think that was a wonderful session, and it was very, very informative and also detailed. I think you covered everything from getting into the college and also how you're supposed to do good when you're at the university. So that was just brilliant. I have just one small question that I want you to elaborate a little bit more on. So when a student is pursuing their undergrad in the field of architecture, they always have this doubt as to whether they should pursue a master's in architecture or an MArch, or they should actually do something like an MSc. So could you just give some pointers as to how somebody could better make this decision?
Yeah, so basically, like, we have options of doing MArch. So MArch will be totally based on the design aspects, or the philosophy, the theory aspect, the history, theory, and architecture. So that goes together. So there, it's more of approach to design, or the design functionality, or the philosophical approach to design. Like how you are evolving the design, what are the literature you have studied, the background from where the evolution of design, the response to the ideas comes from. But in MSc, what happens is, like, you are also considering the technical and technological aspects. So not just the design aspect, but also technical aspect, which is quite important, because in the time of collaboration, you should be either you are aware and okay, I would need the help of so and so stakeholders. But if you are, as an individual, you are starting your journey, you should know and aware, like, okay, how I can integrate engineers in my design, how I can integrate social entrepreneurs in the design. So the strata goes bigger and bigger. And this particular MSc course helps you to understand what are the layers and what are the roles of those individuals. So from after my course, I can be also an engineer in a structural company, or I can also be an restoration architect or a refurbishment architect. I can also be an architect for management companies, or who are managing the projects. Also can be into project management side, and also into technical, like energy, totally into energy side, like working with Griha or the government bodies, municipalities, to working with town planning officials. So the role and the wide range is there after this course. Just that you have to stick to one from beginning, or find something at the end of first year and stick to it and just go ahead, because otherwise you will become confused at the end again. So get those answers at right time, and definitely everyone will get it on right time. Just that your mind should be at it, and things will be okay. I hope I answered.
Yep, that definitely answers my question. And I think with that also brings me to the end of the session. So thanks a lot, Ankit. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you on behalf of Team Plant for taking out the time for this session. Trust me when I say that it was very useful, and we're very grateful for it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and all the best for the team Planty, and good job. See you again. So that's it. Yeah, we'll wrap up. Okay.